mistake. Okay. Yes. So the setup of the story was sometime during the Great Depression. You all may have learned that in history. There was a Great Depression, right? So this story is based at that time, and this is a true story again. So at that time, the churches in the US, like how temples and churches and gurdwaras, they go forward and they do some activities to help during any kind of difficulty or a pandemic. Like right now, we have COVID, and we have so many gurudwaras and other places of worship who opened up and are serving meals and so on and so forth. So at that time, there was these US churches that were helping orphanages in the interiors of China, right? And at that time, uh, you know, people in China really needed stuff. So these churches had made huge crates of various things, whether it was grains and all, and they were being shipped to China. So this one carpenter, and again, there was a depression in the US also that time. So this carpenter was working for the church, and he was making these huge crates. And in those crates, all the stuff was loaded and then put onto the ship, and then the ship took it to China. So he was working day in and day out. And and while he was making these, once it so happened that he was wearing these glasses, right? He was an old gentleman. He had 6 kids, and he was wearing these glasses. By mistake, he must have removed those glasses while he was doing his activity, and he forgot about it. And those glasses got packed and they got shipped. And those were glasses that he had recently purchased for a hefty sum of some $10-12. That time, $10-12 was a lot of money, right? And he had 6 kids. He was not so well to do off. And when he reached home and he checked his glasses, oh my God, I've forgotten my glasses. And he was in utter dismay. It was like, oh my God, it was the last thing that I wanted. I have kids to feed, the depression is on, we have very little money. And here, my new set of glasses that I had invested in have got lost. And he was, you can say, in utter dismay. And in utter dismay, what typically happens? One thing that we mostly land up saying, God, why did you do this to me? Right? Most often or not, this line comes. So even that carpenter landed up saying, oh my God, why did you do this to me? These were new glasses. And well, time went on, and a couple of months later, now someone from China, the orphanages of China, that director landed up coming to US. And when he came to US, he went about thanking all the churches who had sent a lot of stuff for the orphanages. And when he went over there and he was addressing all these churches, so he even came to this church where this gentleman was working. And he came and he started, thanking. And he said, you all have been so supportive and so helpful and this and that. And he said, besides all the help that you'll give me, I cannot thank you more than enough for the one pair of glasses that you sent me. And everyone was like startled because glasses were not on the shipment. It was not supposed to be going. And this carpenter was listening. And then he continued to say that you will not believe, we at the orphanage at that time had no way of even buying another one. And we were suffering because I particularly wanted a pair of glasses and I didn't have one. And in this shipment, luckily a pair of glasses came and we could manage because we were in terrible pain. And that one pair of glasses was shared by 3 people who needed reading aid. And when they said, when we wore it, it seemed as if they were made just for me. So then this carpenter, in his mind, he understood that God had made him commit that perfect mistake because of a bigger reason. There was something more important. So sometimes, God has something better planned and we don't realize that, right? So just like this carpenter who at that time was cursing and, was probably angry at God saying that, why did you do this to me? Because it was money and he didn't have that much of that. But later on, when he realizes that someone needed it more than me, so you realize that it was a perfect mistake. So remember, whenever God does something, so many times what happens, say I'm getting late for office and my car is giving trouble, it's not starting or something. it's fine, because many a time it has happened that people have missed a flight or missed a train and they have been saved from a great accident. If you remember, in my last series, I had given the story of this family from the US who wanted to board the Titanic, and they had bought 6 tickets, right? And on the last day, the younger son was bit by a dog and they couldn't board the Titanic. And again, they were cursing God. But later on, they read that the Titanic had sunk and they were saved. So God's plan is always better. He always has something good in mind for us. So please, let's always remember. And even if we do a mistake sometimes, sometimes it is his plan, and it is to put us to some better use. Like in this case, the glasses were put to better use by 3 people, and in at a time when they needed it the most. All right. So this is one such perfect mistake. Now, anyone of y'all has ever had a mistake like this? Anyone has ever uh, had any such experience where you've actually cursed God or said, been angry with God, and you realize, Arey wah, acha hua, then I missed this, or I didn't go, or anything like that? Anyone has any such incident? I see some hands up, but I don't know whether it is for this or something else. Okay, I'm unmuting Hari Priya. 14A. What is this? Hari Priya? Again, there's a code along with your name. I'm unmuting you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, that's
Yes.
my school. I have to write the roll number in the
Oh,
class.
roll number and division. Okay. Perfect. So
Yeah,
any such experience you want to share?
yeah. I wanted to attend the class, but my mom said no, and I was just saying, Krishna, that why didn't you make it? Why didn't? And I have to pay the fees. So Krishna, I was saying, Krishna, why didn't you make my mom say yes? So and
And you
then
didn't want to
I
attend it.
realized I wanted to attend
You
it, but
wanted to
my
attend. Okay, okay.
mom said no. And then the next day, I realized that the class was not class was cancelled for the class will not happen.
Oh, the class wouldn't happen. Okay, good. So see, it happens sometimes. Okay. I'm giving Rakshita also a chance. Rakshita Pandey, anything you would like to share, dear?
Yeah, I want to share an incident that
Yeah,
I was 1 minute, 1 second.
yeah. We can hear you. We can't see you, but we can hear you. So you can go ahead.
Yeah. So once I was in my village. So I came back and I thought and I was in my village at March of
In March. Okay, yeah.
2019. So
Okay.
I came back and then I just see that there is whole lockdown in the whole city and we can't move now. So I was so sad. Oh God, why my exams on this time and then and then they are cancelled also now. So I was like, oh no, what is this? I am back from my village and just after a few days it's lockdown. So how do I go again?
Right.
So then I there was a news that there are so many patients in my village and there are so many constructors which are coming there. So I thought, oh God, if I was there, so I also had corona or I was also a
Oh, so
patient.
your village had a lot of cases of corona that time,
Yeah.
and God brought you here safely. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. See, that's what lovely. Good experience and good realization. Very nice. Okay, I'm giving Krishna a chance. Krishna, I'm unmuting you. Krishna Kaimal.
Yes, yes.
Yes, go ahead.
This is not my incident, but I learned that there was someone and she missed the train. She usually went to the train and things
And
like
missed the
that.
train at the train station. Okay.
And she missed the train because her car didn't start or something like that,
Ah,
or traffic, I don't remember. And then actually, that train had a bomb and she was then saved.
See, oh yes. So whatever happens, happens for the good. Yes. Yes, yes. Thank you so much for sharing that case. Okay. Rishabh, I'm giving you a chance too. What do you want to say?
Yes. So I had said that I I had said that for my school, this is similar to the previous incident about
The
about
train.
the previous topic,
Okay.
comparing. So about comparing myself to about
Oh yeah,
comparing,
you can go ahead. Yeah, you can go ahead and share that. Yeah, yeah, sure.
but this is something similar to that.
Sure, sure. Go ahead.
Yes. So then I was so before my final exam, for the
Okay.
same subject I got low marks. The final exam. So that time I had to on that Saturday when I was supposed to prepare for the exam. I had already fixed a walk to go for walking with my friend.
Okay.
Then I was because then my parents didn't allow me because I had exams and I had to study.
Okay. Then
But then I agreed later on. I was like, God, why do you do this to me? I really wanted to go for that walk. Please, why did you do this to me? I
okay.
kept on saying that, and that Monday of the exam came, final exam came,
Right.
and I got good marks.
Ah, okay. So the next story that we're going to take, a lot of other hands are raised. I know I'll keep giving you all chances as the stories go on. Okay. So Naman, Parth, don't worry, I'm going to give you all a chance too. So the next story goes something like this. Okay. It's called The Footprints. Now, once this man, again, like we had a story yesterday in the dream. So this man had a dream, and he was a God loving person. Yeah. And in his dream, he was just he was thinking that he's talking to God, and he's gone back to the spiritual world, and he's talking to God, and he's telling God that and he's describing his entire life to God, that this is what happened, this is what happened, this is what happened. And while he's doing that, he's seeing he said that he's seeing his entire life being narrated on a beach where he and God are walking both together. All right. So there is footprints of him and the Lord, and he's describing his entire life. But then suddenly he notices that at times in his life when he had a lot of difficulty, right? At that time, he notices only one set of footprints. He doesn't notice the other set. Now, throughout, as I said earlier, God and his both the footprints were there. And he just noticed that at this point, I had a lot of trouble, only one set of footprints. At that point in my life, when I was that age, only one set of footprints. And at that stage, again, only one set of footprints. And he was very intrigued. He said, Lord, I love you so much. I've always, been worshiping you. I'm always in remembrance of you. But, I noticed something, that in my life, whenever I had difficulties, throughout you're walking with me, but when I had difficulties, only one set of footprints I see. Why is that so? Why did you leave me when I was in the most difficult part of my life? And the Lord just smiled at him and he said, look carefully, my child. That is the time you see only one set of footprints, because I lifted you in my arms and you were in my arms that time. And that's the reason you see only one set of footprints. So basically, again, it reinforces the point that more often than not, who do we land up complaining against? The people we love most. All right. So it's generally God, because we are all parts and parcels of the Lord. So we have that feeling, and that thereby we'll end up complaining to him, or we'll end up complaining to our parents, because these are the two people. Parents, of course, over here, because they do everything possible for you, and even if you're complaining, they don't really mind it. And the Lord. So this is again an example, or the story which brings out the point that how we're all being parts and parcels of the Lord are extremely dear to him. And when we go through difficulties, we have to have that assurance that we are not alone, that the Lord is with us. And in fact, at that time, he's taking more care of us. And this story called The Footprints brings out this key point, that the Lord loves everyone. We are all his parts and parcels. All living entities are his parts and parcel, and he loves everyone. That's what we need to understand and always remember. And when we remember that, our association or our relationship with him will become closer, our bond will be closer, and thereby we will feel more comfortable even in the most troubled times, the so-called troubled times when we have difficulties. And of course, it's life. Like in life, you have summer, and then you have rains, and then you have winters, all different seasons, right? And we have to adapt. Same is the case for problems. They come and they go. All right. And they are going to come, and because this body of ours is succumb to problems. It's inevitable. All right. So we don't need to get boggled down. We need to be tough, and we need to work things around. And when the going gets tough, the tough get going. And the best way to get going is by having a strong bond with the creator who manages this entire creation. All right. So again, this is another story which highlights that. Now I'm going to give Naman and then Parth a chance to talk. 1 minute. Naman, I'm unmuting you. Give me a second. Naman. Yes. Okay, Naman, you're unmuted. You can put on your camera too. Naman, can you hear me? I'm trying to unmute you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes. Go ahead.
So this experience is about I many times complained to my mom because my sister beats me a lot, because whenever she gets angry, she just speaks anything she wants and she will just beat me anytime.
She's older or younger than you?
Younger than me. She's just 5 years old.
Okay.
And she beats me a lot. So whenever I beat her a bit little, my mother beats me. So I complain that why that she beats me, but I'm not able to beat her. Why do you let her beat me?
Okay.
So
Then what did
she
say?
she said that she is smaller than you and she is not experienced. So she's saying anything. Once she becomes older, I will scold her also.
Ah, very well said. Very well said. Absolutely right. Okay. So now you understand that.
Hare
Yeah?
Krishna Prabhuji.
Okay. Go ahead, Parth. Yes.
Prabhuji, I wanted to tell that not I complained to God, but what I did was I was wanting to get something, and it was COVID time, and I was my father. I was about to go to somewhere, but my father said we'll go tomorrow. We'll see on weekends or another day. So next day or day after next day, we got to know that place got 10 COVID cases. So we got protected from there.
Oh, yeah. Nice. Nice. See, God saved you again. Very well. Very well. Okay, Shambhavi, I see your hands raised. I'm going to give you a chance, Shambhavi.
I have a question.
You have a question? Please go ahead.
You are saying that everything is for positive. Everything is positive. What is positive in COVID-19?
Okay. So basically, if you notice, we have to see the positive in everything is what I'm trying to say. You may say, what is the positive in COVID-19? Okay. Have you noticed that except for the human species, every other species is happier? Have you seen that the air is cleaner? The water is cleaner, right? The animals are happier. In fact, in Bombay, you're seeing more species of birds, right or wrong? You may have seen so many photographs where from a village from a city like Ludhiana in Punjab, you can see the Himalayas from Punjab. And on our very own Marine Drive at Mumbai, we could see dolphins at the shore. Can you imagine? You've seen all these. These are all WhatsApp videos which have been floating. So except for human species, all other species have benefited in COVID-19. Now, what that means, probably what God is trying to say is that human beings, please understand that because of your selfishness, you all are putting too much of pressure on all the other species, whether it's people, the living species in the air or in the forest or in the water. So don't be so selfish. Please understand that you need to take and let live. Otherwise, you will be in captivity how you have others in captivity. So that is one of the understandings that have come to me, because the only people suffering in COVID-19 are the human species. Do you agree or no, Shambhavi?
Yes.
So there's always good in something. It may not be good for me for some reason, but in the long run, it's good because it's teaching me a lesson. So it's good. So make sure the environment is kept clean. Make sure you're compassionate towards other living entities. We have to make sure we're not so greedy. We don't want too much. We shouldn't waste. Wastage of electricity, wastage of paper, because all of this creates burden on the environment. And there are so many other living beings. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says there are 84 lakh species of living entities, 84 lakh. We cannot be so selfish of not considering all these other people now who are living. They all have life. They all feel the same pain. They all feel hungry. They feel thirsty. And they all, when they are cut in their body, they feel hurt. Right? I hope I've answered your question, Shambhavi.
Yes.
Okay. Now, who else? Before we go down to the next story, Sumit Deepak Rathod, I'm unmuting you. Your hand is up. All the kids who've already got a chance, if you can put your hands down, so we'll give others a chance.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Sumit.
Prabhuji, Prabhuji, as Naman told, the same situation is in our home also. And I wanted to tell about that. I love reading books and comics. I love comics so much that I kept reading books and comics.
Okay.
So I wanted to buy a comic named Supandi. It's very much funny comic, but because of the COVID, I couldn't get it. So I was frustrated, and I told my mother, why can't we get it? And my mother told that
Can't hear you now. Yes, Sumit, what did your mother say?
and if we see online the stock out of stocks, when it will come, we will give you. So I said, why only with me? And when I explored through the online, I said I will buy it online. And when I explored through the online, it said many reviews were there as don't buy from online, buy from any shop, because if you buy online, there are so much damages to the books. So I said, thank God I didn't buy it online. If I had
Okay,
bought
good.
it, all the money would be go wasted.
Okay, that's a nice learning. Very nice, Sumit. Good, good. Okay, next, who would like to speak? Srirang wanted to say something. I'm unmuting him. Srirang, go ahead.
Prabhuji, I just wanted to tell an incident that that this is the story, like when Titanic was going, then family they missed the ship and they were poor, so they complained a lot, and at last they saw that the Titanic sank.
Yes, so this was there in the last time I had said the story. Yes, yes, absolutely. Okay. Now I think we should go to the next story, and then I will look at some more kids and we can give some more chance to discuss. Okay? Is that a good idea? And all those who have answered, I would request you, please put your hands down so that others can get a chance. Okay? So the next story goes like this. It's the baker and the farmer. So, our villages, right? They are generally places where there are limited number of shops for everything. Small villages, right? In rural India, if you've ever been to villages, how many of you all have been to villages first? Quickly in the chat boxes, if you can tell me who all have been to villages. Quickly. So I'll at least have an idea how many. Otherwise, I'll describe a village a little more so that you all can associate or relate to this story. 1 minute. Let me see in the chat box. Okay. So at least 13, 14 kids I have seen are saying they've been to villages. Naman is saying I'm living in a village. Okay, Rakshita is also saying the same. Okay, fine. So you all know typically there are a limited number of people who do each activity. So there'll be one potter, one baker, one person who supplies milk and milk products. Generally, lesser people are there for each of these. So this setup is in one of the villages. Again, a very small village. Everyone knew everyone, and so another thing very common in villages is barter exchange. That means if I grow some corn, I will give that and I will take some other service from someone. Like a plumber will come to me and he will do my work, or a mason will come and he'll do my work, or a baker will give me bread and I will give him corn. Like this barter exchange happens. So this story is based in a village where there was this. Again, we're discussing this topic of complaining. So this baker was there and this farmer was there who basically had a couple of cows, and poor guy, and he used to make sell milk and butter and all of that. So incidentally, this baker and farmer had this barter exchange of bread, 1 ounce of bread versus 1 ounce of butter. So they would do that regularly. And this baker one day realized that mere ko butter kuch kam mil raha hai, it's less. And then he checked the weight. It was actually less. And then they went to the village panchayat. He said, look, I bought this morning from this farmer and he's cheated me. He's giving me less of butter. And then they all went to the farmer and they said, why did you cheat? And he was an elderly gentleman and he said, I didn't cheat. And he said, no, but he said, this is not 1 ounce in weight. And he says, but I measured correctly. He says, where is your measuring scale? He says, I don't have a measuring scale, but what I do is every morning, the one loaf of bread that I buy of 1 ounce, I keep that as a weighing tool. So the 1 ounce of bread that I buy from the same baker is what I sell my butter against. So actually it was the baker who was cheating and he was giving lesser ounce. And he was the one who was actually complaining for lesser weight. And the poor farmer was just using that ounce of bread and he was keeping it on the weighing scale. And that's how the weighing scale goes. So 1 ounce of bread was actually less. And then the fraud of the baker came into light. And the poor farmer still went and he said, it's okay. Next time, I just hope he gives me full so I can do it in full. So again, complaining at a place where you are at fault. So many a times this happens. We also land up complaining at a place where actually the fault is ours. And we need someone else to make us realize that. Now, sometimes we realize in front of everyone and we're ashamed. And sometimes we realize in private, hey, I was doing wrong. See, our heart never lies to us, right? We cannot lie to ourselves. We may lie to the whole world. But inside, we have that inner voice. You all would have heard it, which tells you're doing wrong, or you did wrong, or don't do this. So we have the Lord situated within our heart, who is known as the Paramatma. And he's the one who tells us when we're wrong. And many a times he will guide us. It's just that we have to listen. Right? So any such instance comes to your mind when you've actually complained knowing that you are wrong, but just to cover up or something, you all have done something like this? All right. If there are any such instances, please raise your hand. Purnendu has raised his hand. I can see him. Kids, if you'll put on your cameras, I can see more kids and then I can give more you all a chance. Yes, Purnendu, go ahead.
So, Prabhuji, what had happened that once I was doing a school project of mine and I was out of glue sticks. So I needed glue sticks and then I went to my friend to ask him, do you have glue sticks? So he gave me one, but in that glue stick, like he bought it, but he cheated, he put water in it. Oh. So yeah, so it would melt and then it wouldn't stick properly. So I used it and then I stuck it. Then I told it to my teacher, ma'am, this is coming out like this. I don't know why is it happening. Then my teacher went to the guy who I took the glue stick from. And then I showed this is the guy who gave me the glue stick. Then my ma'am took the glue stick from me and then she saw it properly and then she told there's water in this. Then that guy's mistake came out and then he was took to the principal.
Oh my God. And then I hope he learned from his mistake.
Yeah, and then he was like, I'm so sorry. He did 5 these things. 5
Sit
from
up.
me in front of
Okay.
me.
Chalo, anyway, sometimes experience teaches us, right?
Yeah.
We all learn and we all do mistakes. It's okay. It's a part of growing up. Mistakes is fine, but not learning from mistakes is not good. We have
And
to
then
learn from our
from that day, he never ever cheated. He didn't have the
Good.
word of cheating in his vocabulary.
Very nice. So at least see one incident taught that how we should not cheat. Very good. That one incident taught him. All right. Anyone else wants to share anything? I don't see any hands raised now.
Whoa. I have thought.
1 minute. I don't see any hands raised. Mataji, can you see anyone? I don't see anyone's hand raised. 1 minute. Ira, would you want to say something?
No, sir.
Yes, Ira? No? Okay. Rian Patel? In between your hand was up. No? Nothing? Okay. Fine. So now we'll move ahead and we'll try and understand that we've understood about complaining and comparing. But then typically, how do we overcome this? Any ideas? Any suggestions? How do we get over this habit of complaining and comparison? How can we get over this? Any some suggestions in the chat boxes? Quickly. Any suggestions anyone has? No suggestions? How will we overcome comparisons? How will we overcome complaining? Rakshita has a suggestion. Okay. Parth says having faith in God. Krishna says being satisfied. Kavya says being fair and kind to everyone. Okay. Purnendu says honesty. Rian says calm yourself by meditating. My goodness me, Rian, very well said. Okay. So since Rakshita has something to say, everyone else has typed. I will Ashni has something to say. Ask the person. 1 minute. I didn't understand that. So I'm going to give Rakshita and Ashni a chance. 1 minute. So can you help unmuting Rakshita? And then Ashni.
Yeah, so Prabhuji,
Yeah.
my suggestion was that if we have some complaining or some comparison, we should first think about it. We should first think that is it right for what we are complaining, or is it good that we are comparison, or is that thing had a meaning? So
Okay,
we should
very good.
think because sometimes our parents say something after our complaining, and we thought that yeah, that was right, and we were wrong.
So that's basically introspecting, asking yourself, right? That's what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. That's nice. Very nice. And then there was someone else. Who was that who wanted to say something? I think it was, sorry, there was one more child who wanted to say something. Was it Ashni? 1 minute. Ashni. Yes, Ashni. Can Ashni be unmuted? Kiran says appreciating and thanking for everything. Okay, well said, Kiran. Okay. If Ashni is unmuted, please, Ashni, what did you want to say?
Ask the person means you ask the person instead of the teacher. You don't tell the teacher, but you ask, why did you do like this? What happened? You
Okay,
ask
so you're saying that you should confront the person and sort it out rather than going to a teacher.
Yes.
Okay, okay. But sometimes, yeah, it just depends on the person. Some people are more, may not be willing to even have a dialogue or accept their mistake. So that could be another thing. But yeah, well said. Okay, perfect. Sumit, I want to tell about comparing. Okay, Sumit, I will unmute you and you can tell about comparing and then we will see how to overcome that. Sumit. Can Sumit be unmuted? Sumit? Okay, Sumit, I've found you and I've unmuted you. Yes, go ahead, Sumit.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Prabhuji, I wanted to tell about comparison. That if we think about comparing that comparing this thing, comparing the phone, comparing the cars. If we comparing the things, so if my sister has an iPhone and I have a Samsung small button phone, so what is the use of that? If the network is not in my mobile and not in her mobile, so what is the use of her iPhone and my phone? And
Okay.
if there is no network in her mobile to call and there is no network in my mobile to call, so what could we say to the mobile, that the mobiles are equal? How could we say that the iPhone is better? But why do we use mobile for calling?
Yes.
Be it any Samsung phone or iPhone phone, we
Yes.
use
So,
it for any work. So some things come in our life that can teach us that if a person is not given value by his things he used, by the cup he's drinking.
but it is what is inside that. Very well said. Very well said.
Yes. He is valued by the habits. He's valued by the behavior.
Correct. Very well said.
Not by the cup he is drinking, not by the car he's driving, not by the phone he's using.
Yes. Very well said. Very well said. Beautiful. Great. So now I'll give some more kids a chance to speak. Now let's take one or two more stories which show us how possibly we can overcome this complaining and comparison thing. So the first story that I'm going to be talking about is there was this grandfather and grandchildren. They have a great bond and a great relationship that they share. So this is one such story where this grandfather was there and his young grandson was there, and they were very closely attached. So he would share and confide everything. So one day he came home, and they would normally go for a walk every evening, and they were on their regular walk, and suddenly the grandfather noticed that today he's not in his mood. He's a little angry, he looks a little annoyed, matlab he's not himself. So he just landed up asking that what happened to you today? And then the little child started, then he opened up and he started, this is what happened to me in school, and this schoolmate of mine, he did so much of injustice to me, and because of him I got a firing, and that whole complaint against this schoolmate who had done something wrong to him, and because of which his entire day was bad, and because of which he felt a lot of injustice had happened to him, and he was extremely angry. And he was an older boy, and older means stouter, bigger, and thereby he wanted to just go fight with him, but he just managed to control. So he was just venting out that entire incident to him. And his grandfather very compassionately, very quietly just listened to him, and he was just nodding his head. And when he had finished, after a couple of minutes of getting all that venting out, sometimes when you're angry and you just want to say, so the best thing that we as parents do sometimes when children, we just let them say, let them talk how much they want to, and then we try and understand, and then we reply to them. So similarly, this old gentleman, he heard him, and then very nicely told him, I completely understand, and I completely agree with you. I have felt similarly many a times in my life. I've had this hate feeling and this anger feeling many a times, when people did some injustice to me also. Things were taken away from me and I couldn't really do anything about it. I was extremely angry. And then the son, the little child, he felt nice because similar situation. And the grandfather is telling him by his side that, okay, that what I, he also felt similarly. So he was feeling good. But then after telling all that, suddenly the grandfather used the word, but, that I also felt a lot of hate against people, this, that, but then the grandfather continued, but you know something, kid, hate only tears you down. It affects you more than it affects the other person. And the boy looked a little confused. And then the grandfather added one more line. He said, hate is something like taking poison, but hoping that your enemy dies. And the boy looked even more, amazed at that. What is my grandfather saying? He says, I have struggled with this feeling. And hate actually is your worst enemy. And then again, this boy is looking. He's saying, see, inside us, there are two wolves, he said. One wolf is the wolf which is always full of anger. He wants to react and he wants to, latch on at the first fit of anger. Okay, he just wants to fight, vent out, get angry, scream. And then there's another wolf who does not harm, and even if he fights, he'll fight in the right way, but he's a very logical and a very calm wolf. And whenever we are faced with this situation, both the wolves are always barking. One is barking and then the other one is louder and louder and louder, and it goes on and on and on. But the question is, who dominates? He asked the little child. And the child says, I don't know, grandfather, you tell me, who's the one who will dominate? Which is the wolf who will win? The one who's angry or the one who's calm? And then the grandfather waited for a second, and then he replied with these words, just saying, the one you feed will win. Now, what does that mean? The one you feed will win? That means that the two wolves inside us are nothing but our consciousness, which is basically the good and the bad. Within us, we all have good and bad. So if we feed the good, that means we look at the positive side, or we look at being calm, vis-a-vis the other wolf. If we feed that, if there's some little thing went wrong, I get angry. Little thing went wrong, I start screaming. Little thing went wrong, I start fighting with someone. So if we want the right or the good wolf to stay alive, we have to feed the good wolf. How do we feed that? By inculcating good habits, by inculcating good, by including our food. So food, the thoughts, the action, the company that we keep, the books that we read, the television that we watch, all of this inculcates our good habits. And if we have the right habits, then automatically the right thoughts will come in. So there is this concept that I use very often. It's called GIGO. That means if you put garbage in, garbage will come out. And if you put good thoughts in, good thoughts will come out. So that's how we have to remember that when these feelings of comparison and complaining come in, which wolf are we feeding? Are we feeding the good one who's satisfied, calmer, or are we feeding the one who's always dissatisfied, always angry, always complaining? Slow and steadily, if we don't feed the bad one, that means chodo. When the bad wolf says something, just ignore. Just ignore. Just put him away. Don't listen. That's it. Sooner or later, because of lack of feed, he will tone down, and the good one will get better and better. So this is one suggestion. How to overcome complaining and comparison is to feed the right wolf inside. And we all know we have good and bad inside us, because all of us, right? If you see, all of you at some point of time may have felt terribly angry, wanting to hit and say wrong things. But then again, the next couple of moments later, a couple of hours later, you're fine. You're back to normal. So that means these two wolves keep fighting, and you have to make sure that you feed the right one. Okay, Rishabh, I see your hand up again. I'm going to give you a chance. What do you want to say?
Yes. So whenever me and my parents me and my mother have a fight,
very common.
I really feel like I really wanna. I'll never forget this. I'll always remember this. I've done such a bad thing to me. I don't like this. I'm gonna remember this forever.
Yes. Tell us what, so that even we can learn, and we can also, all of us can remember.
I kept on saying. So my parents say, and even I feel I'm very resilient.
Okay.
So after a few moments, we both hug each other and we forget all that has happened.
Correct.
And I'm the type who always forgets bad things really easily.
Quickly.
Yeah, quickly and easily also.
Very nice. So yeah, you have to get over it, because the moment you realize, but the important thing is after you realize, you come over it, very good. But you should make sure you don't repeat it. Okay? That's critical. And that's it. You've learned from your mistakes, and we all make mistakes and we all learn from them. Important thing is to rectify the mistake. Okay? Chalo, now we'll have another child. Naman, yes, go ahead. What do you want to say?
Prabhuji, regarding this only, regarding anger, I have one more story. So once a great saint was passing by. He had a few disciples accompanying him, and he stopped near a lake, and he asked one of his disciples that, please fetch me some water. So the disciple took a pot and went to the lake. But as soon as he dipped the pot in, a bullock cart came and the whole area got muddy. Okay. And then he saw the bullock cart going on the other side of the lake. And the bullock cart had gone into the water, and that is why the whole lake water had become muddy. Okay. So after that, he returned sadly and said, dear master, I'm very sorry, but I could not bring water. He said, okay, I forgive you. And after half an hour, he again said him to go. But again, it was still a bit muddy. So he went back and said, and then after that, then also the Guru forgave. After 15-20 minutes, he sent him again. And then the disciple was surprised that it had become still. Yes. And it had become crystal clear water. Yes. And he happily took it and gave it to his master. And then his master said that, and our consciousness is just like the lake. The problems are like the bullock cart, and when they enter, they leave it very muddy. So muddy, messed. Yes. Yes. And so we just need to leave it alone. And after a few days or months, it will become still, and you just need to forget it. Just don't keep thinking and wondering and all of that. Yes, absolutely right. Very well said. Very nice story this was. It brings out this beautiful fact. Very nice. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. Okay, Krishna, you're next. Go ahead. Krishna, I'm trying to unmute you.
No, Prabhuji. I didn't.
Oh, your hand was raised. Okay.
Okay, sorry.
No problem. Sumit Deepak Rathod, you wanted to say something, Sumit? 1 minute. I'm just going to try and unmute you. Yes, Sumit.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Prabhuji, I wanted to say about the complaining. And Prabhuji, then Naman told the story. That was the incident with Lord Buddha.
Ah, okay. Okay, go ahead. Tell me, Sumit. What do you want to say about complaining?
The problems come in everyone's life. There is no one that he has not faced any problem.
Yes, absolutely.
Everyone has faced a problem. Now, COVID pandemic, we should not feel that we are only in it. All are involved in it. Absolutely. If we be complaining, nothing will happen. We have to do something to overcome a problem. If there is a fire in a cinema hall, a foolish man will run away through it and will be complaining. But an intelligent man will take a cylinder and make it possible to call the fire brigade and make the fire
extinguish the fire. Yes. Yeah.
So we have learned from the complaining that we should not be complaining. We should do something to overcome the problem.
Yes, so you have to take some action. Very good. Absolutely. Absolutely. Very well said. Very well said. Thank you, Sumit. That was good. Anyone else wants to say anything? I was planning to do one more story today, but we have a little less time now. We have only 2 minutes to go. So tomorrow we will start with this story that I have. And the story is called The Mountain Story. So we'll start with this tomorrow. And then we'll go on to do another trait that is something that we need to get rid of, which is called the cheating propensity. So that's the third topic that we're covering in this series of life lessons, which is cheating propensity. So tomorrow we'll start with this mountain story, which again teaches us one more important lesson of overcoming the complaining and comparing attitude. And then we will move on to another trait which we need to get rid of, which is the cheating propensity. All right. So tomorrow, same time, kids, we will meet. I see some more hands raised. We have like 2 minutes to go. We rather discuss that. Yes, Parth, go ahead. Your hand is up. I can see.
Yes, I wanted to say
Please.
that many of us complaining like we see someone like going out, like he's going out, but we aren't in this COVID time.
Right.
From this, we should learn that what is happening is for our goodness. If we are sitting in home, it is blessing from God.
It's a blessing, absolutely. So who's going out? You don't know the reason that they are going out. Now they might be going to do a RT-PCR report, or they might be going for something else, right? As we said, we discussed even yesterday, the grass seems greener on the other side, but we never know what actually is the other person going through. We don't know. Okay. Yes. Shreya, your hand is also raised. I'm unmuting you. Please go ahead.
Yes, so I had heard a story somewhere, so I just wanted to tell that.
Sure, go ahead.
So like there was this man who was very like he had a lot of money, but he was not very happy. He used to never be satisfied. He used to always think that I am very unlucky or I'm very unhappy. So once he just told all his ministers and guards that go and find the person who is the most and who has never suffered through anything, like who is most happy in their life, just go and give me their clothes.
Yes.
So all the ministers and all, they went there. They went to everyone. They went to architect. They went whoever in the village.
Yes.
And once they saw a very small, like a jhopdi kind of thing, which was not quite good. Like it was very in a bad condition.
Right.
They thought that no one will be happy here, so we should not go. But they just thought like the village is getting over. We'll just ask over here. So
Yes.
when he asked, like he knocked the door, and he asked that, are you like happy in your life? Have you ever suffered through anything? And this person was like very poor. He didn't have anything. So from behind he said, yes, I'm very happy because like he can get good sleep. He can do whatever he wants, though he doesn't have a lot of money, but he's still happy.
Yeah, this is a very beautiful story. I've heard this. It's from our Upanishads. This story comes in our Upanishads, and when we say it in Hindi, but actually it's in Hindi, which says the king. It's a story of a king who was not sukhi despite having everything. So he was told by an astrologer to wear a shirt of someone who's sukhi. And no one was found sukhi till this guy. So very well said. Yeah, it's a very nice story. Thanks for sharing, Shreya. It's a wonderful story. Good that you'll read and hear such stories, because it'll only help you improve. Okay. So tomorrow, all of us, we meet again at the same time, 3:30, to discuss further, and hope to see kids with more cameras on. I only see names, and I also request some more participation. There are only about 12, 13, 14 kids who are participating out of the 35, 40 who are there. It'll be nice if more kids can participate. All right. See, when you share more, it's good for you also. All right, kids. So looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye. Hare Krishna. See you all.